Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. So in today's video, I am going to be reviewing the brand new foundation by HOURGLASS. So this is the HOURGLASS Illusion Luminous Glow Foundation and I'm going to be putting that to the test today. I've already tried this a couple of times, so it's not going to be a first impressions. However, we're going to be going over the details together. I'm going to apply it and I'm also going to be doing a wear test. Now, you guys may know that I'm a huge fan of HOURGLASS, so I thought it would be fun to also include a couple of other products by them in today's video to do sort of like a full face of makeup. Not everything is going to be by HOURGLASS, but in case you are interested in a full face of HOURGLASS, I did upload a video a couple of months ago onto my channel where you can see products that might be missing from this video, especially if you are interested in their ambient foundation, the foundation that they released, I think it was in 2022. Oh my gosh, time is flying. But if you are interested in that foundation, just rest assured that is in my other video. I'm also going to be linking the video up here. I'm going to put it in the cards and I'm also going to be putting it at the end of the video and in my description box, alongside with links to all of the products that I'm going to be using in today's video. I was not sent this product by HOURGLASS. I did purchase this with my own money. However, I did use some store credit. So this was actually almost for free for me personally because I used my store credit. I'm really happy about that because this is not inexpensive. HOURGLASS is never inexpensive. They are definitely more on the luxury side if you are looking at the price range of this brand. And because of that, I thought it would be a great idea to see if this is worth your coin or not. So that's what we are going to be doing in today's video. And I also just want to say I do have a little bit more leaning oily skin. So I do get quite oily around here throughout the day, a little bit on my chin. So if you have kind of a similar skin type to me, this video might be really useful to you, but I always try to take into consideration, a variety of skin types, because sometimes I feel like just because something does not work out for me, it might work out for you because you may have a different skin type than I do, or you may have different preferences. So if you do end up enjoying this video, if you find it helpful in any kind of way, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos as well. So thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. And I would say without no further ado, let's jump into the video and let's start off by prepping my skin first. So if you have a little bit more oily skin, if you have skin that tends to get a little bit shinier throughout the day, I do have a product that is not by HOURGLASS, but I'm going to be putting this on today and I use this so much. And you may know which one it is. It is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. This product has really just changed my makeup game. I really feel like whenever I put this on, I don't get as oily as if I would not use it. So I'm just going to use a couple of drops and I'm just going to apply it where I would get oily. Usually it's just around here on my chin. I mean, my forehead, it's fine. I just use, the remains of the product on my forehead. Just better be safe than sorry, So this is something that I would definitely recommend if you have a similar skin type to me. And also the next product. And this one is a primer and it's by HOURGLASS. And it's one of my favorite products in the entire world. I really adore this. So this is the HOURGLASS Vanish Airbrush Primer. I forgot to zoom you guys in again, so I'm going to be zooming you in, and I'm also going to be putting back my hair so that I can apply the products a little bit easier. So if you have been on my channel for any amount of time, you guys may know how much I adore this primer. And recently I actually did empty an entire jumbo size because I get the jumbo size. So this is completely empty. Nothing comes out of it anymore. I squeezed out every drop of this. I just adore this product, okay? And this is a brand new one. I picked this one up as a backup during the Black Friday sale because I know I need this product in my life. I just love it. It's my favorite primer of all time. It is so perfect. It's gonna get rid of the shine. It is blurring. It feels amazing. It feels like silk on your skin. And I've been raving about this product so much. It really feels like a really nice soft gel when you apply it. It's non-drying. Just know this is not a glowy primer. You guys know I don't love these. This is exactly what I like, and it's one of my staple products by Hourglass. All right, my primer is applied again. I just really like this. It's called airbrush primer for a reason, because that's really the finish it's giving me. And I just really like it. It's so, 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 so good. So let's move on to the brand new foundation by Hourglass. So this is the Hourglass Illusion Luminous Glow Foundation, and this retails for $58. Again, Hourglass is quite pricey, so that's a pretty steep price point for a foundation. Now, you guys may know I am not the biggest fan of a glowy foundation, but I just could not resist picking this one up. I mean, if Hourglass is gonna come out with a glowy product, I kind of trust Hourglass for it not to be over the top greasy or tacky or dewy. Here it is. It is kind of like a travel friendly sort of packaging. I do feel like though this packaging is kind of like fingerprint central. So if you touch it, the chances are really high that you're gonna get fingerprints all over, but you can easily wipe this clean again, so it's not a biggie. I really like the shape of this. So it's okay with me, you know. I mean, I'm not too big on packaging anyway. If the product is good, I don't mind it as long as it's functional. So this foundation also has an SPF of 30. There are 3 different chemical filters in here. So this is not an SPF product with a mineral filter. Now, I would always advise you guys to actually put on a separate SPF underneath a product like that, especially if you are exposing your skin to the sun. Like, just be mindful to actually have a separate SPF applied underneath a product like that. So some of the bullet points on this foundation: SPF 30 helps protect skin from sun damage, defends against early signs of aging, maintains a healthy looking complexion, visibly smooths, intensely moisturizes and hydrates the skin, clinically proven to visibly reduce fine lines and wrinkles, improves skin tone and texture, high performance makeup, 12-hour wear. However, claim cannot be linked to SPF protection, which is really important. Transfer and crease resistant, doesn't settle into fine lines, doesn't oxidize throughout the day. And if I do remember correctly, there is no oil in here, because that's something kind of important to me. I don't really love foundations with oil. If I look at the ingredient list, I don't see a lot of like skincare ingredients. That's one thing I do want to point out about this though. I do feel like there's a lot of marketing lingo being used, but when I look at it, there is not much that jumps out to me. This really just looks like a standard, typical, like, foundation formula. I mean, I'm not mad at this because I don't need 100,000 ingredients that are skincare related in my foundations. To me, it's more important that a product like this is performing, you know, that it's not running off my skin, that it just stays put, that it does not get over the top greasy at the end of my day. So that's the most important thing to me, is really the performance, and that it makes my skin just look great. Let's have a look at the shade range. There are 26 shades in total. I actually picked up the shade 6, which is described, I think, as a light with neutral undertones. I do have a neutral leaning cool undertone, and there was no cool undertone with the light shade, which is very bizarre. But also in the past, I do remember that when Hourglass put out a cool undertone, it was leaning very peachy. Now this shade actually does match me quite well. I was really surprised when I used it because I was really scared. I thought like, oh no, please don't let this neutral undertone pull to yellow or something. I do think it works fine on my skin, so I'm happy about the shade that I picked up. So yeah, that being said, I'm gonna be applying this on one side with a sponge and on the other side with a brush. I have tried this product out twice by now, and every time I used a sponge, but I felt like for today, I'm going to be using a brush, because also on their website, they are actually saying that you should apply this with a brush. So let's see what's going to work better, what's going to give me more coverage, if there's like a difference in between the application method. Before I'm forgetting it again, I'm just going to apply a little bit of Nabla Candied Lip Oil. Love it. I just like to have some lip oil on my lips before I'm applying any kind of foundation. This grape flavor, So, so good. I love it. Because this is an SPF product, I'm just gonna give it a good shake. Let's actually squeeze a little bit out. So as you can see, this is quite a creamy product and it's not gonna run down my finger. It's a little bit of a thicker formula, but really lightweight on the skin. So on one side, I'm gonna be using my sponge. Let's start with this side. And I'm just gonna use pretty much everything that I have. Okay, so let's blend it out. Now with the sponge, this blends out really, really well. And the coverage level, I would say straight off the bat, it is pretty light bordering on medium. Like I would say this is a light medium coverage, you know. I can still see my skin, but it has definitely evened out my complexion. And I still have a little bit of product left. So I'm just gonna apply the rest right here. And my sponge is not completely wet. Like it is half damp. This shade really does match me. So it really does match my neck and I kind of like it. I really do. As you can see, it is a little bit glowy, but also keep in mind I did use a more mattifying primer. It's not the most mattifying primer in the world, but it is definitely not a glowy primer. So if you want more glow, I would say go in with like a glowy primer instead of what I just did. But for me, this is more convenient. I mean, it looks pretty flawless. So let's go on to the other side with the exact same amount. And I'm going to be using a brush and let's see what I actually prefer. Again, I've not tried it out with a brush just yet. So let's see if it's gonna make a difference. Because it's more of like a creamy product, I'm gonna use tapping motions instead of swiping motions. And I kind of always prefer a sponge application. Sometimes I feel like whenever I apply something with a brush, I mean, I could get more coverage out of it straight away, but it just never looks quite as smooth as if I would use a sponge. It looks a little bit heavier with a brush, and I'm kind of getting the impression immediately that with the sponge, it just looks a little bit more smooth. I honestly prefer the way that the sponge applied this product, because if you're looking at this side, it definitely does look a little bit heavier. It does not look quite as smooth as this side. This really gave me more coverage, but it also gave me more glow because obviously the sponge is going to absorb a little bit of the product and the application is just a little bit different. So I do prefer my sponge, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go over with the sponge here. Once it's applied to your skin, it does have a little bit more of that self-setting property to it. Like it's not something that is gonna slip around. It's not something that is going to stay tacky on your skin. Like I can feel it on my skin. It's definitely a little bit wet still, but it's not the worst sort of like wetness that I've ever experienced with any foundation. So I feel like once this is set, it's going to dry down completely, really. So in my opinion, if I would wear this on a hot summer day, I would have to powder it, just due to my skin type, basically. But otherwise, I like the finish. I like how this has evened out my complexion. It gave me a really nice medium coverage. Could I potentially build this one up? I could, but then I would also enhance the glowiness. So I don't really want to do that. Instead, I'm gonna go in with their concealer, and this is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. I freaking adore this. I have it in the shade Pearl. This is such a full coverage concealer. And I am going to just apply this a little bit where I feel like I need it today. I'm not going to apply this underneath my eyes because I don't love this underneath my eyes. This is definitely a little bit more of a drier formula. And underneath my eyes, this never looks good. So I don't really use it like that. Honestly, I use this concealer all the time to clean up my edges, whenever I'm doing eyeshadow. So that is the main purpose of this concealer, and also to spot conceal. So I'm just gonna use it a little bit here, maybe just a little bit around my nose here. Again, I don't want to, you know, change the look of the foundation too much for today. But I also just want to test this foundation, how it's going to perform if I would just use it as a normal base. So that when I apply products on top of it, that's the real test, that's how I wear my makeup. I am not somebody to slap on a foundation with my fingers and then just call it a day. I'm not like that. I will always sort of do more of a full beat. Feel like this shade is a little bit darker than the foundation itself. I mean, it's still gonna work. I do have this concealer in a different shade, but this is usually the shade that works out best for me. I mean, it's also the first time that I'm using those two products in combination, but I'm also not gonna be applying this too much. So next step would be I'm just gonna be applying my concealer that I love for underneath my eyes, and that is my HOURGLASS concealer. I freaking adore this. Let's see if this shade, I think this shade is gonna work. So this is the shade 22. And I'm just gonna apply this underneath my eyes. Now, as an eye primer, I'm always using my Sigma eyeshadow base primer. Freaking adore this. This is the shade Persuade. This is just an eye primer and a concealer all in one. I just apply it all over my lids because I'm gonna be doing an eyeshadow look today as well. Every day I use this primer. I love it. It's like the best primer I've ever tried. Even if I'm not wearing eyeshadow, I feel like this is just something that does not crease, that will just stay put, has a lot of coverage. So what I've been recently doing before I'm actually setting my face, before I'm applying any powder, I am actually using a cream bronzer on an unset face because I feel like this year I want to get more use out of my cream products. I have been so bad in using my cream products last year because I just tend to go for the powder products all the time. And I just feel like it's time to get some use out of the products that I purchased. And so I've been using my Rare Beauty bronzer stick in the shade Happy Sol. I really want to get more use out of this. I actually really, really like this. And I don't think that HOURGLASS has a cream bronzer. I really don't think so. Maybe I can also use the HOURGLASS liquid blush before I'm setting the face. I sometimes tend to use that liquid blush on top of powder because it works really good on top of powder. Now, I don't remember if I actually like it underneath powder. Maybe we can try that. I'm also going to contour my nose with the Victoria Beckham Beauty Contour Stylus. I think this is the lightest shade. I really like this. And again, a cream product that I need to use more because I just got so comfortable just solely using powder products and I really neglected my cream products. And I really like it for my nose. It's really amazing. I do have this Unreal Liquid Blush by HOURGLASS. This is the shade Scene. This is very pigmented. I just use one drop on the back of my hand. That is enough. Then I'm gonna use my beloved Ilia complexion brush and I'm just gonna spread it out slightly, work it into my brush, and then go onto my face. Usually I put this on top of powder, so let's see how it's gonna work underneath powder. I don't think it's a big issue. I mean, I still want to use another powder blush on top of this. I really like this liquid blush. It's just a little bit expensive, but it's really, really good. I wish I had a different shade though. I love this shade, but I don't think it's the most exciting shade that they are offering. This might be a little bit more of a safe bet. But yeah, it's such a pretty formula. A very pigmented formula for a liquid blush. But it just really melts into the skin so pretty. And you can definitely blend it out so well if you have the correct technique. And I'm just gonna go a little bit on my forehead. And I'm also gonna go onto my nose, the top of my nose, because I kind of like that. And it's just gonna unify everything. Of course, I could use an Hourglass powder. I don't want to do that because I don't really love any of the Hourglass powders that much that I would feel comfortable testing such a glowy product out with their powder. Because I know their veil powder, it's great, but it's not the best in oil control. And I really want to just use a little bit more of an oil controlling powder today. Something that can really set this face, because realistically, if I'm going to go out in summer wearing this, I want something that is really strong. I'm going to be using another powder, and this one, I really do adore this. So this is by Jones Road, and this is the tinted face powder. Now, I have actually the non-tinted version of this. This is just a translucent powder, but oh my gosh. This powder, stop it. If you have oily skin, you gotta try this. This is so blurring, so mattifying, and actually quite potent. I randomly purchased this powder, and then when I tried it out, I was blown away. I also have the pink version. That one is really, really tinted, really, really pink. So just be careful. If you don't want to change the color of your foundation, just get the untinted one. It's a little bit of a safer bet. But yeah, let's actually sap my face on one side, and then we can compare it to an unset side. I mean, this powder, wow, I love this powder. Just look at that. That difference, right? This is without the powder. This is with the powder. This is so finely milled, and it's so blurring. Such a good powder. I love it. I really do. Such a dramatic difference. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna be doing the other side now as well. I'm gonna leave a link to this powder in my description box down below in case you wanna try it, in case you have oily skin and no powder is ever enough. I will say though, if you have dry skin, I feel like you could also use this powder, but with caution, you know. I do think this is a little bit better if you have oilier skin. If you don't mind being matte, and if you don't mind having a blurred sort of face, maybe yes. And I'm just going to move on to some Hourglass products because I've got some that I really love. One of my favorite bronzers in the world is this one by Hourglass. It is the Ambient Lighting Bronzer, and this is the shade Diffuse Bronze Light. It's just so good. I really love it. So I'm just going to use this a little bit where I used the Rare Beauty Cream Bronzer. It has such an amazing undertone, and it just looks beautiful on the skin. Also, it's not too pigmented, so you can definitely build this one up to your liking. It's just such a flexible sort of powder formula. I just looked at myself and I was like, something is wrong, something is off. And yeah, I forgot to do my brows. So I'm going to be doing that off camera. Now, I would love to use the Hourglass brow pencil. It's amazing, but I don't have it in my collection as of right now because I emptied 2 of them. And I also like their Arc Volume Gel, but I also don't have that right now because I always use my Kosas one. This is the one I love. So I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to be using my Rare Beauty eyebrow pencil, you know, the usual suspects. So I'll be back in a second, and then we are going to continue with the powder blush. All right, I am back. My eyebrows are filled in. Let's just use one of the powder blushes, and I'm going to use the Ambient Lighting blush in the shade Mood Exposure. This is such a pretty blush. Like, I really like it. It's described as a mauvey shade, but every time I'm using it, I kind of feel like it's a little bit more pinky. Like, it's not necessarily all that mauvey. And again, these Hourglass powders are just so good. They are amazing. You know, I've been raving about them for so long, and I just feel like every time I use them, they look fantastic. Let's also apply a little bit of highlighter now. I've got a bunch of highlighters by Hourglass. If you want to see a comparison, I think I've featured them all in my full face of Hourglass, but one that I just absolutely adore, and this is such an old product by now, but I keep on using this all the time. This is the Ambient Lighting Palette. I really like this dim light and I like the incandescent light. This is my favorite one. This is like such a pretty highlighter. I use a lot of like Hourglass highlighters, but this is one that I use the most, the one in the middle. So I'm just going to use this and I'm going to apply it onto my nose, and it just gives like a most beautiful sort of like reflect without being glittery, because that's something I don't like it. So if you don't like glittery highlighters, if you just want that glow from within, just look at Hourglass highlighters because they are so fantastic. I really like them. And then for the rest, I like to mix these two shades together, just like that, and just gonna go right here on the high points of my cheek. The ones in this palette are definitely a little bit more on the subtle side, but as you can tell, I can definitely build them up to something that is also quite visible. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go off camera now, finish off my eye look. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna come back and then do my lips with you because I do have an Hourglass product that I still want to use. All right, you guys, I am back. My eyes are done. I actually ended up using one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes that I tend to use off camera for an everyday look. I mean, I really like how this eyeshadow is looking, but it's this. It's by Colourpop and it's the Stone Cold Fox eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna link it in my description box down below if you're interested. I really want to do like a full face of Colourpop very soon, so I might be featuring that palette in that upcoming video as well. And, you know, I actually wanted to use my Hourglass Unlocked mascara. I absolutely adore that mascara. And then I was like, oh no, wait, it's actually empty. I did empty that one 2 months ago. So I used my Sweet Club mascara. I love this. This is one of my favorite mascaras of all time. The Hourglass one, the Unlocked one, is actually a tubing mascara. It's my favorite tubing mascara ever. I think I featured it in my full face of Hourglass in case you're interested, okay? So I'm going to be linking all of these other products in my description box down below. And also something that I did before I did apply my mascara, I used some setting spray. Now this is really important for the wear test. I did use the Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray by Hourglass. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite setting sprays. I mean, you can tell by the look of this bottle, it kind of looks disgusting, but I used this so much. This might be my third bottle of this. I kept on repurchasing and repurchasing this. It just makes your skin look so pretty and definitely extends the wear time of the makeup. We shall see though what's gonna happen today. So I'm gonna be moving on to my lips real quick, and I'm gonna use one of these amazing Hourglass lip products. I have so many lip products by Hourglass that I love. I love their lip gloss formula, and I also really like their matte lipsticks. Those are amazing. They are so fantastic. But for today, I wanted to use their, what are these called? Phantom Volumizing Lip Balm Gloss something. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name, but I wanted to use one of those because I have one. And I feel like, you know, I keep on forgetting that I've got this and I really want to use this more. So this is the shade 100 called Rice, and it's such a pretty shade. So I feel like I'm gonna go in with a lip liner though, and I pulled out this one. So this one is by RMS Beauty. It's the Go Nude Lip Pencil, and I've got this in the shade Nighttime Nude. Think it's gonna work really well. Do I need to sharpen this? Yeah, I think I do. I'm gonna be applying this. I feel like these RMS lip liners are so underrated. I honestly love these, and this shade is so pretty. It's working with so many different lip colors. Okay, they are called Phantom Volumizing Glossy Balm. Right, okay, and they actually did add a couple of new shades to this lineup. Now they look really pretty. Okay, I have this shade 100 Rice and I love it. I mean, I want to use this one for now because it's just a perfect shade for me personally. These are a little bit minty. I like that, you know. I know some people who don't love it, so I'm just, you know, gotta call it out, but I honestly really like this mint because it's just so refreshing. It's not like a very strong mint or anything like that. It's just really nice on the lips. So let's go. Oh, I like this formula. This is so nice on the lips. I really love this shade. Works so well with the eye look, right? And with the lip liner in combination. The reflection, it's so glossy. So pretty. Let's have a look before I'm gonna go off and live my day. I mean, this foundation is still looking so good, right? It looks amazing. I have not touched this up with any powder ever since I put the powder on. So I'm gonna come back after, I would say, maybe at least 5 hours of wear time to see if everything is still looking smooth. What's the time actually? It is only 3 p.m. So let's see how it's gonna look when I'm back in a couple of hours. Hey guys, I am back. It is 20 past 10. So basically, I've worn this foundation for 7 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, it is kind of glowy. It is kind of like getting a little bit like shiny right here, right here. On my chin, I still feel like it looks pretty good. On my nose, it also has worn off just a little bit, but everywhere else, I think my foundation still looks all right. Not the best wear test that I've ever done, but definitely also not the worst. I think it just would require me touching this up a little bit because I did not touch this foundation up with any powder whatsoever. I did not even look at myself the entire day. I also did not really have a very active day. Most of the time I was sitting in front of my computer actually editing the beginning of this video. So I wasn't really doing that much, I was not working out or any of that. I will say though, I ate some food and it got a little bit steamy in the kitchen. Considering that I have done all of these prepping steps, considering that I've used the strongest mattifying powder that I have in my entire collection, it still got a little bit shiny, but it's kind of normal. It's a glowy foundation, so I'm not gonna judge it too hard. I will say it did not break up anywhere. The only place it rubbed off is kind of on my nose. But otherwise, it did not break up, it's not looking patchy. For these wear tests, I don't really want to touch up my makeup, throughout the day. But in a real life situation, I kind of would do that. So I just want to show you how it would look if I would just add some powder on top of it after this time. And usually it just does the trick for me. Because it has not really broken up or anything. I think just a little bit of powder. Here we go. That is pretty much it. If I would touch this up like a little bit further, like add a little bit of blush, add a little bit more dimension to my look right now, I feel like it could look really good. So in that sense, this foundation is not bad. It's not bad for being a glowy product containing SPF. Because let me tell you, some of these foundations containing SPF, they never perform the best. But this, oh my gosh, it's actually not bad. I'm not mad at this, now that I've powdered it down a little bit. I feel like it's looking fine. It's looking good. I'm just happy that it worked out for me. Now, let me know, have you picked up this foundation? Do you intend on picking it up? What is your opinion in case you've tried it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you found this video helpful or if you just enjoyed it, why not give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and also ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. And I am gonna hit the hay now because I'm really tired. So until next time, please do take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.